This is the Dog Savant podcast with your host, Brett Endies.
Hello and welcome to the Dog Savant podcast. My name is Brett Endies. I am your host. I am a professional dog trainer. Today is episode 73, I believe. It's March 18th, 2020, and anyone listening knows what's going on in the world. We're dealing with the coronavirus issue. Everyone's going into isolation. Businesses are falling apart, as is mine. I'm not able to see clients. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I figured just being, my area of expertise, we'll talk about some solutions of how to still give your dog a full life when maybe we can't be socializing and getting out as much as we usually do with our pets. And just sharing, again, I don't share too much about myself and my personal life, but I need an outlet right now. In all disclosure, full disclosure, I yesterday tried to record an episode and I broke down. I'll try to hold it together here in this one, but it's not been good. And I don't want to sound like I'm saying poor me, because there's so many people right now in probably worse off positions, but in a matter of days, everything that I worked so hard for and everything that is my identity disappeared from me. I had mentioned, I think in the last podcast, and a lot of you know, that I see my clients one-on-one. I do a group class. I do a lot of work out in the public space, so that made me unable to work. And even worse was I commute, if you will, back and forth between Colorado and Los Angeles, where my business and my clients are. And air travel is just out of the question right now. Actually, as we're speaking, I'm driving my van that I usually keep out in California for my job, my work. I'm driving it back to Colorado just to have everything in one spot up here in the mountains. California, I'm really, if anything I do for anyone, I've got my brother there, my clients, people I love, these dogs that I care about, they're there. And this place seemed a little scary last night. I just wanted to get in and get out. And, when they say the word zombie apocalypse, I don't know. I didn't like the vibe there. It was eerily empty for anyone who's ever been to Los Angeles. It is congested, to say the least. And I'm already here. I'm almost halfway through Utah, headed back. I did pretty much, short of a few hours taking a nap, I've been driving nonstop since yesterday morning early to drive out there with a rental car, pick up the van at the airport parking, and now heading back to my house in Colorado to regroup. I've got my girlfriend there, my daughter and her mom are nearby, so we're just kind of all coordinating and trying to get a plan, try to ride this out. Hopefully this will not be a long-term thing, but we're assuming the worst, and we are, if you want to say the word, prepping for it. With that said, I am doing online training for anyone, and I know another issue, as people have been communicating, is they're now out of work or their businesses are shut down, so they can't pay for dog training. So we're all really in a bad place. I'm scrambling to call my mortgage company and all these places to try to get me some kind of time, just as a buy me a few months, just so I can set up shop again. And we're going to start an online program and a lot of other things, but that does, living costs money, and somehow we got to figure out a way to survive in the meantime. So it's been hard, both financially, both what do you do with this free time, and even more so, this is who I am as the dog guy. I'm sitting here like a lion in a cage who can't hunt. I want to work. I want to see dogs. I want to do what I do best and help people. And I feel limited. And that's why I've been offering. And anyone listening, please, it would support me in this time. I'm giving discounts, of course, on online Skype, FaceTime training sessions, telephone consultations. I've done it before. I can help you that way. Even if you're a client and you don't want to wait too long till we see each other again, please let me know. We reach out. We can schedule something to do virtually. It works, and we can definitely get something done in the meantime. So that's what's going on. It's rough. I'm really stressing out. I guess this drive was a good downtime, but maybe a lot of time where I could just sit here and think and ruminate on thoughts that maybe aren't the best. We gotta stay positive. I'm not the guy who's talking all positive, but I think if I start thinking anxiety world, it's not going to be pretty for anybody, and that goes for everybody. We got to somehow cope and deal with it. And I think the positive from all this will be when we're on the other side, people will get over all this narcissism and the stuff that, people, even on my YouTube, I saw a comment that you complained that I talk about narcissists, but I kind of see the world for what it is, and now people are going to have to regroup, and it's good in a way. Gotta, again, see the positive. All right, so we're stuck in our houses, we're stuck in our neighborhood. What do we do with our dogs? We're in an apartment, we can barely leave. Well, I know that they don't say stay indoors exclusively. You can go outside, but you have to keep that 6-foot rule of social isolation nonsense. But it's just really because, I don't want to sound like a broken record like everyone else is saying. It's about people who are compromised that can get sick. Everyone has older relatives. I have a girlfriend who has asthma. It's just a lot of things that you just, it's not about like, I'll make it through it. So you got to be cautious of that. But let's just say, for example, you can't get out. Take a walk. Find someone who you can walk at a little bit of a distance with the dogs. Dogs aren't going to give it to each other. So if you can say, hey, we're going to meet. We're going to keep ourselves at our human social distance, but we'll let the dogs mingle. Let them play in the yard. I wouldn't recommend dog parks. I never do. Both for dog diseases, but now for humans, because dog parks can congregate a lot of people that are creating their own rules in life, and they're not going to respect what's going on in society other than their own basic selfish needs, and we can't deal with that right now. And I think that's, again, another benefit, is those kind of people are going to be like, excuse me, what are you doing? Cut it out, instead of like giving them a pass, which always baffled me that we got as far as we did before this horrible thing had to happen. So treadmill training. Right? So let's say, okay, I don't want to go outside at all. I live in an apartment. It's limited. You live in a city. You don't want to encounter too many people. Your dog's going to have to go to the bathroom outside. If you have a big dog, you're going to have to figure out a poop spot, right? But short of that, exercise, you can teach you to walk on a treadmill. Or you can get a backpack. Like, hey, I can wake up real early and get out there before everyone else does. I'll get a weighted pack. Or we're going to start running together to get more aerobic exercise and more steps or more calories burned in whatever time we can condense to get the exercise time in. Training, so important. Your dogs are going to go stir crazy just like you will if you don't enrich your mind. You need to keep them busy, teach them new things, get them, ramp up the obedience. Take a trip in your car up to a rural place where you can find space and build a better recall. Teach your dog more off-leash skill. And that goes again for the exercise. Sometimes you're going to have to go somewhere to get where your dog needs. Even we live in the mountains and we have space, but we'll drive to go to hiking trails because it's new and it's a different experience for our dogs, and it mixes up the terrain and their senses and their mental, exercise, if you will, or just gives them more stimulation. So all things you can do, it's just going to take more effort now. It's not going to be as easy, and you got to spend you got to be that way for your dogs. I put an email out to my clients explaining, our situation for how my business is going to operate. And I said, for our dogs, for our loved ones, we got to hold our shit together. And I found myself breaking down a little bit yesterday. I said, that's not good. That's not the kind of podcast I want to put out for my clients to listen to dog owners, to people who listen to this, to my girlfriend who edits this, all that. I don't want this to be an example. I want people to see that, if you can control your anxiety, regroup, you can continue plugging away and moving forward. And I'm saying this so I can hear my own advice when I'm not keeping my shit together. So really important, because your dogs can sense it. Your dogs are going to sense when something's not right. They're very in tune with us. They feel us. So we've got to stay calm. We've got to direct the training, even when we're busy scrambling to survive, right? We still got while we're running around like busy ants now, our dogs need place training to not develop now separation anxiety for when we're going back to work when this is over. So you got to think again in the moment when things go on, but you also have to plan ahead. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that I have a stock of canned food and guns and ammo and all of that. Why? Not because I think we're not going to, make it through this. I think it's just I don't trust other people. A lot of people get desperate. I trust people, but when desperation kicks in, the mind starts tricking us into believing our brothers are our enemies. I can tell you firsthand, and I've talked about this on the podcast, earlier episodes, I've lived in my car. I've been homeless. And when you literally don't even know, because I had no money, I lost everything. It was not really to my own fault. It was just things happen in life. I try to raise a kid on my own and no support, and you end up going bankrupt. But anyway, when you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, you get very desperate. Or when you don't know where heat's going to come from, and you think that freezing could be a real possibility, your brain goes into a place of more primal operating that would make your needs for survival primary to others. Safety, I don't know about safety, I never felt that desperate, but I can imagine if people don't have food and they know you have it. Look at what people are doing for toilet paper in the supermarket, right? It's insane. So anyway, gotta look out for yourself. You also gotta stay there for those around you, and the ones who look out for each other are probably gonna benefit most. You know, my community where I live, we're pretty isolated in the mountains. My assumption is if it gets really bad, we're gonna congregate, create a plan, and stick to it, and we're gonna go back to tribalism. I don't know. I've got the survival skills. I hope everyone else does too. Our dogs certainly do also. Even my little Yorkie, she'll become queen of the forest if need be. All right, anyway, humor over. So that's what I want to talk about. It feels good. Thanks for letting me vent on this. I do want to thank people who have been giving me good feedback, people leaving more reviews. I always ask for that. I think I'm going to be doing more of these because it's the only way I can get dog information out there and feel good that I'm still helping dog owners without being able to actually do it in the real world. So thank you for your comments. I forgot someone left a really nice, sweet one lately. Thank you. I'm glad I'm your favorite dog training podcast. It definitely gives you motivation to keep doing it. Glad I'm not annoying you. For the person who, again, on YouTube made some shit comment about something about, I don't even know, you're, of course, someone with, no videos, an anonymous, icon. You're probably a millennial, and you're a piece of shit, and you got blocked and deleted. There's no place for someone like you. All right, anyway, thanks again for listening. This has been the Dog Savant Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, share, tell everybody, let everyone know there's this great online dog trainer. It will help support me and keep me eating while this passes over. Have a good day, guys. Bye.